and good morning, aspirants. So let's see the most important news that you have to cover from the today's The Hindu as well as the Indian Express paper. So today is 1st of August. Let's look at the first news that we are taking here is the Supreme Court drafts the Telangana speaker over the defection plea. So now the main topic here for you is anti-defection law. So let's look back at the history, etc. What is the context of the news today? Because 10 BRS MLA has shifted the allegiance to Congress in 2024. Now what is this year? Now we are in 2025. But Speaker has not decided till now about this 10 BRS MLA case. Okay. So what is defection? Why it is important? How this is important for India's democracy itself is a question. So now let's see, there has been a situation in the past. Okay, what happened before the anti-defection law etc came in India? There was a person who has shifted his allegiance within the week itself. He has shifted from one party to another party. Okay, so these kind of actions of legislator, who the persons we are electing, suppose we are electing a person as our leader because we are so much obsessed with his political party's ideology and vision. Okay, so party is something which we cannot ignore when we are electing the candidates. Suppose a candidate who is the individual candidate, he is not belonging to any party. Suddenly you are electing the candidate because you are not liking any political party's objective. He is standing as the individual candidate, so you are favoring and you are giving him vote, and he is getting into the legislature. But what happens after getting into the legislature? He is deciding to join with any party. Now, what will happen to you as a voter? You will feel like, oh, you are being cheated by your legislator, right? So these kind of things were happening. Not only this, this was making the India's politics itself unstable in a in a literal manner. How? Because for example, today morning someone was a prime minister. Because before the anti-defection, what happens, people are shifting the allegiance. Suppose 10 MLA, 20 MLA, everyone is going to another party. What happens, the entire party will be falling down. So next day what happened, the party is not stable, the leader is not stable, the country's politics is not stable, a new leader has to come. So this was the situation before. Now by seeing this, the unstable situation of our politics that was happening, which was so much taking a toll on every aspect, because we were not able to make a development process, we were not able to have a standard economy etc because of these defections. So what happened, the year 1985 came, a historic year because it added the 10th schedule to the constitution. Okay, before this 10th schedule came, always there has been a question in the UPSC preliminary paper, like whether the political party, the term political party is mentioned in the constitution or not. Okay, before 1985, our Indian constitution never ever mentioned the word called political party. There was no properly, nowhere the political party word was mentioned. But after 1985, what happened? We passed the 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act. And what happened because of that? Because of this Constitutional Amendment Act, the 10th schedule of the Constitution came into existence that has clearly defined the rules for anti-defection. What will be the use of this kind of anti-defection law in India? This will give us a stable politics. Okay. And second thing is that this will prevent our legislators from shifting their allegiance from one party to another. Okay, whenever they do something like that, their qualification, that is they has been qualified to become a legislator because we have given vote to them, we gave them vote because we like their political party or we like that they are standing as an individual candidate. But when they are shifting the allegiance, now what happens, because of this 1985 anti-defection law, they are getting disqualified. Now let's move to the topic of speaker here. The important role of speaker exists here. Why? Because speaker is the person, according to this anti-defection law in the 10th schedule itself, speaker is the person who will decide on the qualification and disqualification of a person. Suppose someone is saying that, okay, the party has issued a whip. Okay, the party issued a whip, but the person, the legislator here has not acted as per our whip. So there is a chance that the person has to be disqualified. Okay, but in such cases, whether the qualification, disqualification, all these things will be decided by whom? by the speaker. When speaker does this process, he is doing what? He is making a judgment. Okay, he's making a judgment, like he is adjudicating this. And earlier, there is like the speaker used to make a decision like someone is disqualified. Then that was a final. But when this was happening, something injustice was happening to some kind of people. Like they felt that the speaker's decision to disqualify them was that not so fair. So what happened? They need a window to have justice, right? Where is the final justice always delivered? In the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court said that, dear speaker, you are not supposed to say that you are the final authority when deciding the 10th schedule, because we are here, we will do a rule. What the Supreme Court said? Because Supreme Court said that even a speaker say that someone is disqualified, it is not the final thing. We are there to see, we are there to verify. If you have any option, come to us, we will see whether we can give you justice. If you are in the right track, you will get justice for the same. Okay, so the speaker, whenever acting as a judge, whenever acting as a adjudicating, whenever the role of speaker is adjudicating the issue of anti-defection, these act is not something that is regarded as a legislative process. So if it is not legislative process, there is not having any kind of parliamentary procedure immunity. So if the parliamentary procedure immunity is not there, means the speaker's action is subject to be reviewed in the Supreme Court. Okay, in that case, the speaker action can be called upon the Supreme Court. And now the anti-defection law, another important thing, is it applicable for the presidential election? No, because in presidential election, what happens? Electoral college will be there. In the most case, like in presidential election, this is not applicable, completely not applicable. Who said this? The election commission itself has said about this. And how election commission will address its voice in the parliament? Anyone have an idea? Today's there is a news article that is mentioning about that. That is, the election commission will give its reply to the law minister. Okay, from the law minister will say what is opinion of the election commission in precise case. Now, which case is happening? The Bihar electoral roll case. Okay, so remember this. This is, I'm connecting one news to the another news, so you will have a static as well as the current affairs knowledge in crisp manner. And second is the presidential election also, this anti-defection not applicable. Also in Rajya Sabha voting also, this kind of anti-defection law is not applicable. So these are the most important things from today's newspapers, this section of the news. Okay, this news is there in the wide ambit also, but all from the text, this is the only important thing that you must have to remember for preliminary also, for the mains also. Okay, let's look at the next news.